Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be highlighting Li Auto. We're going to be talking about this company, about who they are, right? Who their CEO is, their products, and then throughout the video I'll be going through their books. So we'll be talking through a financial analysis and both a technical analysis, and then I'll tail out this video with some short-term and long-term strategies or suggestions for this company. So before I get started, I always ask that you smash that like button. It really helps out the channel, and comment below if I miss any details about this company throughout this video. Also, subscribe to the 9 to 5 Trader channel. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, baby. Let's go. I'm so excited. I never thought this channel could get this big, and I'm super excited. Yes, 1,000 is not a lot for a lot of people, but for me, it means a lot more than that. So I appreciate you guys' support. And again, I always encourage subscribing. You get weekly uploads such as videos like this. Now let's jump right into it. So who is Li Auto? They are a Chinese EV automaker. They were founded in 2015 and they're located in Beijing, China. Their current founder and CEO is Li Xang. Now I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly. Please let me know below in those comments, but Li Xang is what I'm gonna go with for the duration of this video. So Li Xang, he's a young entrepreneur, just like a lot of these other Chinese EV automakers, right? So we have NIO, he's a young CEO as well, and we'll talk about some of his involvement with this company. And then we also have XPENG CEO, who's super young as well. And then Tesla, I mean, Elon Musk is arguably pretty young for the scale of companies that he's managing. So again, this whole EV market, it's good to see that it's not only based in China and that it's growing, but China, again, it's a huge part of the world's global population. But we have fresh, young CEOs. I love that. They're very much more progressive and forward thinking. Yes, like they're of experience, you could argue, but let's talk a little bit more about Li Xang, right? So Li Xang, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's had plenty of companies before this. He knows his way around the block. Now, Li himself is worth about $3 billion, right? So that's pretty substantial. And back in 2014, the current CEO and founder of NIO, William Li, actually reached out to him and said, hey, you want to be part of this journey, right? Do you want to be a co-founder of NIO? Now at the time, Li turned that offer down, but he still invested $15 million into NIO. So he's a big investor into this company. He's just highly invested into the EV market space as a whole. Now next, let's dive into some of the products that they make. Now Li's current notable product is the Li One vehicle. Now back in December of 2019, they delivered their first product of the Li One. And then come June 2020 of this year, it was reported that they sold over 10,000 of these vehicles. That is substantial. They're doing very good. Now let's get more into the details on what the Li One vehicle is. So the Li One, it's an extended range SUV slash hybrid electric vehicle. Now I say hybrid electric because it also has a motor. This vehicle retails for about $57,000 US, and it has about a 500-mile range. Now it also contains a 1.2 liter turbocharged engine, hence hybrid electric. And it goes 0 to 60 in about 6.55 seconds. So not a bad vehicle, not a bad price point. They're somewhere more in the niche of NIO versus XPENG, who's another one of their competitors. XPENG is more of the affordable sedans versus NIO and Li being more of those high-end premium luxury SUVs. So now that we know a little bit about who Li is and some of their products, let's dive into some of their numbers. So recently Li had their Q3 earnings and it was actually phenomenal. They had really good results, and if you want more details, check the link above. I made a video about this yesterday. Great news for this company. Experts had estimates for them before Q3 earnings of -4 cents a share and $342 million in revenue. Their actuals came out to be -8 cents a share and $369.8 million in revenue, which is up 29% in revenue since their last quarterly earnings. This is substantial. They report over 8,000 deliveries for Q3, which is up over 31% since Q2, and their gross margin has expanded as well. Now we'll dive a little more into that as we jump into my screen and go through some of their books, but these are some of the key points you want to highlight from the Q3 earnings report. So ultimately it was good, and it serves as a nice catalyst for a lot of the coinciding competitors within this Chinese EV market, such as NIO and XPENG. Now, one thing you got to ultimately note about this company is that they're not truly profitable, and again, we'll see that in the financial analysis, but ultimately they have a healthier cost structure than like NIO and Tesla. They're not burning cash as much. They're a little more conservative. So let's dive into my screen here. Let's take a look at their books via financial analysis, and then we'll follow into a technical analysis. I'll talk a little bit about some short-term and long-term trading strategies such as investing and day trading, and then I'll cap this video off with a conclusion for Li Auto. So let's hop right into it. So this is investing.com, great website. Link will be in the description. This is Li Auto. So if we go down here really quick, what I want to highlight here is Li's income statement and balance sheet. So if we look at their income statement, look at December 19th versus March 20. One thing I want you to know here is that their revenue is up and their net income has grown smaller in terms of being negative. So their net income ultimately wanted above $0 million, but it went down from negative 726 million to negative 770 million. So they're showing progression. This is good. This is good. This is what we want to see. Now, currently they have a trading volume of about 170 million. This is substantial. Volume is something you want to look at when you're trading stocks. The higher the volume, typically the more movement potential that the stock price has. Currently it's trading at $31.20 as the making of this video. So next I want to look at their balance sheet. So currently they have a ratio of 1.14. This is really good. So general rule of thumb is you want a ratio greater than 1, and comparatively to their competition, this is about in that range. So they're staying pretty good. And what this essentially means is they have more assets than liabilities. So they have more on hand than what they owe, which is a good thing. They can, worst case, go liquid as possible and pay off their debt. So this is something to keep in mind. This is something we want to see. Another thing I want to look at is that they're currently sitting at a market cap of $15.3 billion. So that's pretty good. Comparatively to NIO, I think NIO is at about 50 billion. Let's take a look right here. So if we take a look at NIO, yeah, their current market cap is 49.57 billion. So do the math, you know, they're about a third of what NIO is. But again, proportionately, they're about on the same pace, right? NIO's been a little more established. They have a little more cash flow as opposed to Li. And Li, again, proportionately, they're catching up pretty well. So keep that in mind. The last thing I want to look here from the financial analysis is a quick look at their share float. So this is finviz.com. Again, link in the description. The thing I want to highlight here is you come down here to this table and there's a short float number of 14.43% and shares outstanding of 887.86 million. Essentially what this means is that 14.43% of those shares outstanding are available to the public exchange versus the rest of that being a little more privatized for private investors and internal investors as well. This is significant. 14.43% is a lot higher than usual. Most companies I've seen around usually less than 10. I mean, let's take a look at NIO right now. NIO 6.45%. Let's look at Tesla, right? Tesla 6.99%. So they're over double that. So that's something to keep in mind, especially being an investor. There's a lot of opportunity here. And again, like I mentioned before, they have ultimately a negative gross profit. So what that means is they don't have any real true profit from sales. But again, this company's still getting their feet wet. It takes time for them to truly profit. Again, just something to keep in mind. It's not a terrible thing. It's just like with any true startup company, they're not just going to come out the gate 100% profitable, right? It can happen, but it's pretty rare. And they have a lot of overhead, right? There's an automaker. They have a ton of manufacturing. They have a ton of R&D they need to invest into because the EV market space is just new as a whole. It's technologically heavy, so keep all this stuff in mind. Now let's jump into the technical analysis. I'm going to talk through some long-term and short-term strategies we can utilize. So here's Li Auto, ticker symbol LI. The platform I'm using is Thinkorswim. It's offered by TD Ameritrade. It's my favorite one, very visual. Again, I have a link down below. If you want to get started with this. It's not a referral link. It's just to get you in the right direction, or worst case, check the link above. I made a video in detail on how to start a brokerage with this company, how to install the app, the whole 9 yards. So let's take a look at Li. Li, again, they had their earnings, but then they experienced a huge pullback. Now, let's talk about short-term trading. Short-term trading, let's hold out a little bit. It's pretty volatile. It experienced a huge pump up and a huge sell-off, which typically follows with that. Volume has been increasing quite a bit, so again, it could be arguably manipulation. There could be a lot of short sellers. We just got to be really careful with this stock. So what I'm going to look for here, I'm going to go to the 5-day, 5-minute chart. Now, what I want to see it do next is find a very clear support and resistance level. I'm not seeing anything here clearly. It's concerning me a little bit. So again, I know I'm not giving you the best detail here, but from a high level, what you need to do if you want to start day trading this is just wait and see. You need to wait and see. Wait for confirmation, wait for the stock to start pulling back up and then buy back in. And then when you see validation, which is it pushing back down, sell off. I mean, buy low, sell high, basic stock trading. I know it's easier said than done, but my point is, again, let's wait till direction is a little more clear. Now, if you want to get into this as a long-term investor, let me tell you this. Li, right, comparatively to NIO, XPENG, Tesla, Li, yes, they're probably in fourth place, but long term, I think this company is here to stay. The EV market has been exponentially growing. They're backed by the Chinese government. But again, when you're investing into this, you're investing into a lot more potential, right? So you're speculating, you're getting into FOMO. You got to be careful with that. Now, me personally, I will be investing into this if it makes you feel any better. But my point is, if you are going to invest, let's try to get it the best buy possible. Right now, direction is not clear. Yes, you could say it's at a good buy, but you really don't know. It can pull back a lot more than what we're seeing here. So just hang tight. But again, just like this company and the rest of its competitors, XPENG and NIO, they've been seeing huge push-ups, and then they had substantial sell-offs to tail off the end of last week. So let's just be cognizant of that. Direction is unclear. It's making new patterns. Let's be careful with that, and let's get it in at the best buy possible. Let's just continue to pay attention to it and set our alerts. So like this video if it helped you guys out. I really hope it did. Again, leave comments below if I miss any details about this company. I'm sure there's plenty that I missed, and that's what the comment sections are for. Share that information with others to benefit from. And again, I always encourage subscribing to the 9 to 5 Trader channel. What you get is weekly uploads from yours truly. Some of the videos can possibly be your choice. I don't always upload, relevant videos on the news and stuff like that. I do want to start squeezing in a little bit of how-to videos, how to stock trade, how to read some of these indicators, things like that. Request those below and then I'll take a look. That's all I have for today, guys. Have a good weekend and happy trading.